Have you ever wondered what happens when a single act of kindness changes everything? Sir, do you have something to eat? The words were quiet, but hit like thunder, slicing through the noise of the storm. James Carter paused mid-step, his leather shoes splashing into a puddle on the slick sidewalk. Rain blurred the windshield of his umbrella as he turned his head toward the voice. Standing by the side of the road, soaked to the bone, was a little black girl, no more than 10 years old. She was clutching the hand of a smaller boy, maybe 4, who looked far too frail for the chill in the air. His lips were tinged with blue, and his thin shirt clung to his bony frame. She stood protectively in front of him, one arm shielding him from the rain, her back trembling slightly. That voice, that question, it had torn something open in James, something he hadn't let himself feel in years. But his instinct was to escape it. He didn't even meet her eyes. "Sorry, I don't have anything," he muttered, barely audible, as he turned his face and kept walking. 5 steps, maybe 10. His heartbeat sped up, then slowed. He tried to reason with himself. This wasn't his problem. He didn't know them. But those eyes, those big, unwavering eyes, followed him in his mind. Even as his feet moved further away, he stopped. The rain was merciless, tapping at his coat like accusing fingers. He turned back. They were still there, the girl holding the boy like a makeshift umbrella, as though she alone stood between him and the world. James approached slowly. "What's your name?" She looked up at him wearily, her voice trembling from cold and fear. "Maya," she said. "I'm 10. He glanced at the boy, whose head now rested limply against her hip. "This your brother?" She nodded. "Elijah, he's 4. Where are your parents?" Her lips pressed together. "They're not here." James swallowed. "Come with me." He didn't wait for her to question or resist. He reached down and gently lifted Elijah into his arms, noting how dangerously hot his skin was beneath the damp shirt. Maya followed without hesitation, her shoes squishing with every step. Luckily, his townhouse was only 2 blocks away. They arrived soaked, and he led them into the warm kitchen. He tossed his coat aside and set Elijah down on the couch, wrapping him in a dry blanket. Maya stood nervously by the door. "You're safe here," James said. "Let me fix something warm." He moved with uncharacteristic urgency, pulling out vegetables and broth, working with hands that hadn't cooked in years. But memory was a powerful thing. His wife used to make soup on cold nights, chicken noodle with garlic and thyme. He remembered the smell, the comfort of steam on the windows, the small hands of a boy stirring beside her. Maya sat quietly at the table, watching. Her eyes were wide, her body tense, not yet trusting that this moment wouldn't shatter, too. Minutes later, he placed a bowl of hot soup in front of her and another near Elijah's mouth, spoon-feeding the weak boy as gently as he could. Maya ate hungrily, grateful, and silent. For the first time in days, warmth bloomed inside her. But it didn't last. Just as she was finishing the last bite, Elijah twitched. Then again, his eyes rolled back, his body stiffened. "Elijah!" Maya cried out, dropping her spoon with a sharp clatter. "Elijah!" She scrambled to his side, her small hands shaking him, screaming his name. James jumped forward and caught the seizing boy just before he fell off the couch. His tiny limbs flailed wildly, and his breath came in short, rattling gasps. "We need to go now." Without another word, James wrapped the boy in a blanket, lifted him into his arms, and rushed to his car. Maya followed, sobbing, clinging to his coat as he drove through red lights and narrow alleys until they skidded to a halt outside the hospital's emergency entrance. "Help! I need help!" James shouted as he burst through the doors. Doctors and nurses rushed to meet them, taking Elijah from his arms and disappearing down the hall. James collapsed into a chair in the waiting area, water dripping from his sleeves. Maya sat next to him, curled in a ball, crying softly, and then something inside him cracked. He saw it again, his son. The same fever, the same frantic ride to the hospital, the same sound of shoes squeaking on linoleum floors. But that time, no one made it in time. That time the waiting room had led to silence. His breath caught and he felt it all come rushing back. The helplessness, the guilt, the unbearable grief. His eyes welled up and without thinking he reached out, pulled Maya close and held her. "I lost my boy," he whispered. "I wasn't fast enough." And sometimes the smallest voices lead us to the deepest truths. Could this be the moment James finds redemption? If this story touched your heart, take a moment to let BUP Stories know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button if you believe in the power of kindness, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss another story that speaks to the soul. Maya didn't say a word, but she leaned into him, her small frame trembling in his arms. In that moment, James Carter, a man whose name built towers and moved markets, was just a father who had once failed, and a stranger trying not to fail again. The waiting room's fluorescent lights buzzed softly overhead. Time moved differently here, each second swollen with uncertainty. Each footstep echoing through James's ribs like the ticking of a clock that might run out again. He kept his arm around Maya as she dozed off against him. Her damp curls plastered to his coat. Her small, trusting weight anchored him. The storm outside had begun to ease. But inside James's chest, it still raged. Finally, the doors opened. A nurse approached, clipboard in hand, her expression composed but not cold. "Mr. Carter," James rose, careful not to wake Maya. "How is he?" "Stable for now," she said. "The fever's broken, but his immune system is very weak. Severe dehydration, malnutrition. He'll need careful observation for at least a few days." "Can I see him?" She nodded. "He's resting, but the doctor would like to speak with you first." James glanced back at Maya, still curled in sleep, and nodded. The doctor was young, sharp-eyed, with a kind voice that didn't match the exhaustion in her face. She led him into a private consultation room. "The boy, Elijah, he's incredibly lucky you brought him in when you did. Another hour, maybe less." And James didn't let her finish. He knew that cliff. The doctor hesitated. "Are you the legal guardian?" "No," James replied. "Not yet. I found them outside in the rain. The girl, Maya, said their parents are gone." "Do you have any information on the family, paperwork, contacts?" James shook his head. "They have no one. At least no one safe." The doctor folded her hands. "Mr. Carter, I understand your concern, but the state has procedures. These children will need to be placed into temporary care, likely through the Department of Child and Family Services." No, the word escaped more forcefully than intended. The doctor blinked. "I'm not handing them over to strangers," James said. "She trusted me. He almost died. I won't let some system lose them again." The doctor gave him a long look. "With your resources, you could apply for emergency guardianship, but it will require legal motion, home visits, and time." "Then start it," James said. "I'll hire whoever I need to. I'll do whatever it takes." When he returned to the waiting area, Maya was sitting up, rubbing her eyes. "Elijah?" she asked, voice barely a whisper. "He's okay," James said gently. "He's sleeping now. They've given him medicine. You can see him soon." She nodded, blinking back tears. James knelt beside her. "Maya, do you want to tell me what happened? How long you've been alone?" She hesitated, eyes lowering. Then slowly, she began. "Our mom got sick last year, real sick. She stopped going to work. Some people tried to help, but then one day she didn't wake up." James listened, his throat tightening. "They came to take us, said we'd go to a home. But the man there, he wasn't kind. He yelled a lot. He hit Elijah once. So, I ran. I didn't know where to go, but I remembered this city. Mama used to say she always wanted to take us here. So, I found a bus. We hid in the back. When we got here, I thought maybe someone would help." James was silent for a long time. "You did the right thing," he said finally. "You were brave. I just wanted him to be safe. He is now." They spent the night in the hospital. James arranged for a private room, families, educators, business partners, and media crews. A banner stretched across the entrance. The Lighthouse Project. A future that stays. Maria met them at the door, clipboard in hand and eyes scanning the crowd. Everything's set. Press in the back. Donors to the left. Food trucks are parking now. Oh, and the kids from the center just arrived. James looked over and saw a school bus unloading. Children poured out in groups, some holding hands, others looking around wide-eyed. Among them was Deshaun, a quiet boy who had only recently been placed in a foster home after months in the system. James made a mental note to find him. Later inside, the air buzzed with anticipation. Displays lined the walls, photos of children, maps of future housing sites, quotes about resilience and belonging. At the center of it all stood the stage, small but proud, flanked by banners painted with scenes of lighthouses shining over stormy seas. When James stepped up to speak, the room hushed. He looked out at the sea of faces and felt a weight that was not burden but honor. "Thank you," he began, his voice calm and even. "When I was a boy, I thought safety came from walls, from locks, from silence. But what I've learned, what Mia and Elijah have taught me, is that safety comes from being seen. It comes from knowing someone will stay when the storm rolls in." He paused. "Today isn't about me. It's about every child who has ever waited by a door, hoping someone would choose them. It's about those who've been forgotten and those who never will be again." He gestured to the banner behind him. "The Lighthouse Project isn't a charity. It's a promise that we will build homes, not shelters, communities, not cages, futures, not files." Applause broke out loud, long, lasting. When he stepped down, Maya ran up and hugged him tightly. "You didn't cry this time," she whispered. "Not yet," he replied, eyes glistening. Throughout the day, families toured the exhibits, volunteers handed out brochures, and media crews recorded testimonials. Maya led groups of children through the mural station where everyone could add their handprint to the wall. Elijah stuck close to Maria, occasionally breaking away to offer cookies to strangers. Later in the afternoon, Leah Dawson approached James near the refreshment tables. "You've started something bigger than you realize," she said. "This will ripple." "I hope so," he said. "I want every kid to feel what mine finally feel." She nodded. "Then keep showing up. That's how the light stays on." As the event wound down, the sun dipped low, casting golden streaks across the old station's windows. People slowly trickled out, carrying tote bags in hope in equal measure. James lingered in the quiet. Maya and Elijah were seated on the steps outside, sharing leftover cupcakes. He walked over and sat beside them. "You two did amazing today," he said. Maya licked icing from her finger. "We just showed them what love looks like." James felt a lump rise in his throat. "You did exactly that." They sat in silence, watching the last guests disappear into the twilight. Then Elijah looked up at the fading sky. "Will there be stars tonight?" James followed his gaze. "I think so." Maya leaned her head on his shoulder. "Stars remind me of Mama, but now they also remind me of us." James wrapped an arm around them both. "Then we'll keep looking for them together." That night, back home, they curled up on the couch with blankets and an old movie. Maria joined them after a while, carrying tea and settling into the armchair. As the credits rolled, James turned to the kids. "Tomorrow we rest," he said. "But after that, we get back to work." Maya raised an eyebrow. "More interviews?" "No," he said. "Bigger. There's a school I want to help rebuild and a mentorship program." And she laughed. Okay. "You're going to make us famous, not famous," James said. "Useful," they smiled. And something unspoken passed between them. Not just joy, but direction. Later, as they tucked into bed, Maya asked, "Do you think we'll always be this close?" James paused at her doorway, the light casting a soft glow across her face. "I think real family doesn't drift," he said. "It adjusts, but it never disappears." She nodded and rolled over, the lighthouse nightlight blinking gently beside her. In the quiet of his own room, James sat once more with his notebook. He wrote, not plans this time, but a letter to Maya, to Elijah, to the future. He ended it with one sentence. Let this light never go out. Not in this home, not in this world. And with that, he turned off the lamp. The light in every way that mattered stayed on. The story of James, Maya, and Elijah teaches us that true family is not defined by blood, but by love, commitment, and presence. It reminds us that healing begins when someone chooses to stay, to listen, and to protect. Through James' journey from loneliness to purpose, we learn that second chances can build powerful legacies and that the quiet acts of showing up day after day can become the strongest form of justice and love. Above all, the story urges us to become lighthouses for one another in times of darkness. What will you do to be a light for someone today? Let BUP Stories know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartwarming tales.